Hey, my name's Doc Washburn. I did a radio talk show in Little Rock for over 7 years. I was fired for not going along with the company vaccine mandate. Started doing a podcast at that point. Over time, people would say, you ought to run for office. I always said, no, never going to do that. I'm not cut out for that. I'm not the guy. I wonder if sometimes the Lord hears you say the word never and thinks that's amusing. When Sarah Huckabee Sanders endorsed French Hill and John Bozeman for re-election on her Facebook page in early February and got hundreds of negative responses, because these are people who say it's ridiculous to assume the election was stolen. These are people who blame Donald Trump for the violence on January 6th. My phone started ringing. People saying, you need to run for governor. We need a choice. I said, I'm sorry, you got the wrong guy. And then Jen Morgan called me. She said, you don't understand what's going on. We're about to lose our country. Good people like you need to stand up and run for office. You need to talk to your wife and pray about it. I talked to my wife. We prayed about it. She said, this is way over my head. I trust your judgment. But I knew the proverb says there's wisdom in the abundance of counselors. I met with 10 or 11 people the next evening. We talked for 2.5 hours. It was unanimous at the end. We hope you do this. And so I am doing this. And let me just tell you something. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual powers and principalities in high places that do evil in the land. That's in Scripture. And I got to tell you something. When Governor Asa Hutchinson vetoed the SAFE Act, the bill to outlaw chemical and surgical castration of children, that's evil. That's evil. Thank God the Republicans in the state legislature overwhelmingly overrode his veto. But he went on Tucker Carlson on Fox News and said, Walmart didn't talk me into that. And Tucker proved he was lying. I'm sick and tired of Walmart, Tyson, and the Chamber of Commerce shoving the liberal ideology down our throats. And my opponent, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, has not said a word about it. She said Asa's been doing a good job. 16 days ago, State Supreme Court ruled that if a school district wants to force mask your children from 3 years old to the 12th grade, you as a parent can take a long walk off a short period. You have nothing to say about it. 16 days later, Sarah is silent because, again, Walmart, Tyson, and the Chamber like it, and she's beholden to them. I wanted to drastically cut the size and scope of the Arkansas state government to get them off your back and out of your wallet. Get rid of the personal income tax. Not 0.2% gradually a year. No, now, this January, this session. Get rid of the income tax on small businesses. Get rid of the tax on used goods, including used cars. And you know, the Biden inflation, it's intentional. They stole that election. Unlike my opponent, I'm not afraid to say it. The chairman of her campaign committee, Chip Saltzman, political consultant out of Nashville, Tennessee, said, nope, Donald Trump lost fair and square. No, he didn't.
You ready for a question, Doc?
I'd rather keep on talking, but if I got to take a question, I'll take a question. Yeah, I mean, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans. It's, you know, I'm not ready. I'd rather talk, but it's time. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, I have a question. Arkansas is now going to have $1 billion surplus out of like a $6 billion general revenue budget.
Yeah.
Had almost $1 billion the last time. There's already talk about taking part of that money and putting it into certain projects, one-time projects. How would you deal with that surplus? What would you do with it?
Yeah, they've been taxing the living daylights out of us. We are one of the highest tax states in the country, definitely more higher tax than all the other states in the Mid-South. And my buddy David Crow did an article in Conduit News 5 years ago showing that we spend much more per capita than all the other states around us. We have a much bigger state payroll than all the other states in the country about our size. We need to drastically cut the size of government. We need to spend some of that money doing a forensic audit to see what we can get rid of. I mean, we lose over 5% of our state government employees by attrition every year. I want a hiring freeze for the first 4 years of my term. When I talk about drastically cutting the size and scope of government, I mean it. There's a lot of places we can cut.
Good answer. You ready, Paul?
Yeah. As governor, what would you say about Arkansas's gun laws? Would you have no problem publicly saying that we are a constitutional carry state?
Not only do I have no problem with saying we're a constitutional carry state, but when Senator Gary Stubblefield tried to get the Arkansas Sovereignty Act passed, which would make it illegal for Arkansas law enforcement to assist federal agents in enforcing unconstitutional federal mandates. I was wholeheartedly in favor of it. I wanted to run the bill again, and I said at the time, now, I don't know if Senator Stubblefield is a teetotaler or imbibes in adult beverages from time to time, but if he does, he should never be allowed to buy his own beer in the state of Arkansas again, if he gets that thing passed and signed. It's extremely important to take the Constitution seriously, the intent of the founders. Your right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Period. And that's where I stand.
Thank you, sir.
God bless y'all. Thank you. Elect.washburn.com. If I get my message out to enough people, I will be your nominee, and the Republican nominee will be the governor. Elect.washburn.com. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna move to Lieutenant Governor.